Hey guys, Grim Reaper back with another video for Raidshadowlegends. Today we have a guest, Blazin, joining us. Welcome, Blazin.
Thank you for having me on. I'm excited to be here.
Amazing. So today we're going to talk about this special thing. The arena experience never before. How does Blazin say it? No brainer, right? So,
Yeah, right.
so Blazin, what do you think, first of all, of this?
Oof. I don't know. I'm excited for new content, but I'm worried about how they're gonna roll it out.
Okay,
I feel. Go
yeah,
ahead. Go ahead.
yeah, for me, I'm a little bit nervous. I'm excited, but nervous. My only problem is player are going to do something to ruin us, and this has potential to be game changing for Raid as a game, as player
Yeah.
base, people that want to be plat pushing and want to challenge. I think this could be game changing, or maybe even break the game a little bit if they don't get us correct. So for me, obviously being an arena person, I'm really looking forward to this. I love arena. It's where my passion is. It's what I enjoy. I'm looking forward to using my warlords, in here. But I'm a little bit concerned as well. So they need, for me, I have my concerns. What's your concern to this?
So I'm worried of how they're gonna roll this out. Right? Are they going to do what they did with 3v3 arena and just rinse and repeat? If this is supposed to be real time arena, are we only going to matter for like the 15 minutes before the reset? Is it going to be like a weekly thing? Did you ever play World of Warcraft?
No, no, no.
Um, so World of Warcraft, you had your, you know, silver, gold, bronze, da 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 da, plat, diamond pushers, and you you had to you could scale up to the level you were in, but at the end of the season, it wasn't like sorry, it wasn't like you like Plat Arena is now where it takes like 15 minutes of the push, and you could be gold one all week long, and then all of a sudden on Sunday you just push for Plat Arena. I don't like that concept. I think that actually hurts the game, and I'm worried that they're probably going to do something like that with it, or they do something where it's like Overwatch, where you can go in, you do your 10 games, you place in diamond tier, and then you don't log in and you hold that spot. And so, I also think that would be bad for the game as well too. I'd like to see kind of a more healthier approach to it. I feel like if they did, where it was like a consistent window. I think Diablo Immortal did it where it was like random times throughout the week where you could join for arena,
Hmm.
and try to do it that way. And because the other thing that they are horrible at is the timing. For me, it's like 3 a.m. in the morning to push Plat Arena, and it sucks because I got to be up at like 5:30 to go to work and get ready. So it sucks. But if they did it like through random times of the day, I think that might be better.
Hmm.
I remember when I was playing World of Warcraft, there was Stranglethorn Valley. You had an arena pit there that you can go in and do arena, and it was just during random times of the day. Like it was set for 4 or 5 times of the day. So I think if they do something like that, where it's like literally um, you're playing someone else live and it's a knockout session, not who can gain more points. I think a knockout session would be the best.
Hmm. Okay. I kind of like the idea of having a knockout version. That would be more entertaining. I think my concern is matchmaking, and I think they've done this so many times in Classic, where we can't have something like Plat Arena. We can't have Plat Arena 2.0. We don't want to be pushing the last 15 minutes. We need something like Clash of Clans where you're scaling the points. You can only do so many points a day, so many battles a day within this, right? And also we need to think about arenas getting longer. 3 versus 3, it's getting longer in Classic. We spend a lot of time in the game already. So we need things to speed up our game. They've said that they're never going to release a 410x or instant, right? Obviously, there's been little bits of improvement with Doom Tower, dungeons. One thing I'd like to see is there's 2 times to raid a dungeon on the on Twin Towers. I think that's really important because again, game time. And I think they go 2 ways with this. They limit how many fights you can do a day, and you're relying on your defense as well as your offense. And I think that is a good route to kind of go. You can say you can do 4 a day, and we leave it as 4 a day. And you go in. If you lose 2 and you win 2 for offense, that should be able to scale you, and maybe have like different leagues as well, where maybe the leagues reset weekly, like a bit like 3 versus 3, where you can't push from gold 1 all the way to plat, for example. Another thing that I'd maybe like to see for this, for live arena, and this is mainly to separate the whales and the krakens and the whales from the free to play, is having this as like actually a clan versus clan. So again,
you mean credit card versus credit card, or actual clan versus clan?
Actually clan versus clan, like actually just have like, for example, you're against me, right? You put in a defense, you can't see it, or you see 30 defenses on a screen. You go in there, you can scout, right? But you can't see, obviously you can't see gear or anything like that. And you think to yourself, okay, can I beat this? And then there's a time limit on it. So, for example, if you can make a store team for 3 minutes, I would obviously say, to be honest, the time limit I'd probably go is 1.5 minutes. And I think like if you put a time limit on 2 minutes or plus higher, I think it was just, you'll see like loads of 3 zeros. So they need to be careful how they do this. So I'd say 1.5 minutes. And I think it's quite easy right now for in-game players to make a defense for 1.5 minutes. And then maybe you get percentage. So if you get 2 champions down, 50%. Maybe if you get 1 champion down, you get 12%. And then that percentage adds up in your total clan. So this is more like RNG for sure, but also more skill based. And then I suppose credit card kind of still comes into that, and this is where you'd need to think about what clan you're in a bit more. So again, this will keep the Krakens away from the free to play, and I think they definitely need to make a random tier, so like with the top 100 are in the same category, for example, or the top 50 are in the same category, and it's a random matchup, because right now in C vs C you got people lining themselves up against, for example, Final Capucci's clan, because they know he's free to play, so they personally line themselves up with him because they're thinking, if it's no personal rewards again, we ain't gonna have to pull up 40 mil because this guy's free to play. You know what I mean? I'm just using that as an example.
Yeah, no, I just did a reaction video to Chosen, who was talking about the sandbagging in the clan v clan, and you know, I have different feelings on the whole clan v clan thing, because being at an end game clan, it's not all about that. There are some clans that do it, but for the most part, most of the clans, when you get up to like the top 50 or top 100, 90% of them just make a deal, because they know that it's basically the only winner coming out of this is Plarium. Yeah. So,
yeah.
I agree. What I envision for this, for real time arena, is actually I would like it to take over clan v clan, but I like it to be more of let's take, let's go your clan versus my clan, and it's totally random, and it'll be based on um, the arena teams, right? So you set your arena teams. I'm not a fan of setting defenses because every defense can be beaten, right? So I think if they did it where if it's real time and it was me versus you, or uh, for times like that, I think that's how it would go. Now, the thing that you might have an issue with is the amount of players being on at the same time. Because Raid isn't as big as World of Warcraft was for Arena, where you could have a given 1 million players in the queue to be able to do Arena. Um, but I think I definitely would like to see them take this live arena and move it more of a clan v clan thing, where it's like, I mean, worst case scenario, you have like everybody sets up their defense and then everybody needs to attack that defense. You can't change it, but you can only attack it like 3 times or 4 times, and then best of whoever has so many wins that clan v clan. And I think that kind of takes the credit card versus credit card aspect out. I mean, it's still kind of in there if you have a clan that's got all +4s, and then you're going up against, like you said, like a Final Compachi clan where it's like free to play. But I think like if you do it that way, it kind of normalizes and brings everybody back to the same scale, except for like the power cut thing, where and then that way it's all just randomized because it's based on any clan, you know. Well, maybe.
I think the one thing I'd like to see is maybe be 5 champions per battle. And I think
I agree.
Another thing that I'd like to see is probably just show 1 or 2 champions. Just show the first 2 champions, and then everything else is a guessing game.
Like the gear, or
just do you know in arena how you see like the defense team, and you can see the full team with the blessings and empowerments.
Okay, yeah.
So I would just say, for example, you can see Duchess, Sifi, and then you hide Warlord, Rhodas, and Baron, for example. And I think for me, you can kind of counter it a bit more skill, but then you kind of balance it out. But they need to think about matchmaking, and that's going to be the biggest thing that they need to do. They need to get the matchmaking.
Yeah, I think Raid has a hard time doing the matchmaking. I mean, for the most part, I feel so. I've played Raid for about 3 years now, and I feel probably in the last 6 months they've done a better job with balancing the matchmaking for Arena. I did a video where I was kind of going through some of the teams and what could teams do better, what teams are doing good, and just trying to like basically clear the whole page. And I found one team in there that was like a Rhonda plus your starter champion and like 2 common champions. I'm like, this should not be at the top of Gold 5 where it's like, border level platinum arena pushes.
Yeah.
So that for sure I don't like, but I mean, it's not like that single Mortu or the that one right there. Yeah. I don't think those should be. Yeah, I don't think like those should be in like the top Gold 5. Yeah. I think Gold 5 should be preparing people for Plat, and it should be a little more difficult. Like in Gold 5, you're not sitting there trying to farm your medals. Most of the players in Gold 5 either have like a fully built Great Hall or just about there. But
yeah,
I think Gold 5 should definitely be a little more competitive.
I agree. I always put in like a fairly decent defense. You know, if someone's going to beat me, I'm going to make them work for it.
Right.
I don't really use my top tier champions, obviously, because people will practice against me and learn my builds and stuff like that. But being a content creator anyway, you kind of get hit just for being a content creator because someone wants to get one.
That's true.
Or they know that the builds are half good, especially if you platinum tier and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I personally enjoy tagging people that I know. If I see someone come up on my page, I'm like, yep, alright then, I know that person, let's hit them. You know, like even if they got +4 champions, I'm going in. I'm going in. Man, I won't say what I will say normally off in Twitch, but I would go in. So yeah, for me, they need to make it right.
Yeah, I agree. I don't like how it's based off of player power. I think maybe if you did wins, you know, I think that might be a little bit better, like your win average. I think that's probably better because then you're forced not to have to take like those one player wins or those really easy wins. You're forced to actually have to build the team right, attack the team right, and then strategize.
Yeah. And I think this is where clan versus clan aspect would come in. So maybe you got like how many people in a clan? I think it's 30, right? On the top of my head, it's 30 versus 30. You get 2 attacks each. You go in. Maybe the first attack's just like a scout to see what it is, or you go in there and try and beat it best you can. And put whales of whales. Doesn't matter how they do it. The power creep's going to be there. Someone's going to be at disadvantage.
Yeah.
Someone's going to be at disadvantage, and someone's not going to be happy with it. But the most important bit is...
No, I mean, it's always going to be credit card versus credit card, no matter what. This game is... We'd like to say it's free-to-play friendly, and there are players out there such as like Erebad and Final Compachi that do play this to that extent, but they've been playing the game for 2.5, 3 years, so they've had the time to accrue the champions, to accrue the gear. The new player coming in is going to be, in my opinion, turned off way faster than anyone else that's trying to get into arena or stuff like that. Like I've seen, there was a viewer of mine that has probably spent, believe it or not, close to I think like $40,000 in the last 6 months on their account, which is making you sick. I can see the look on your face. But he spent about $40,000 to be able to like compete in Plat Arena, to be able to do everything. And I mean, to each his own. If that's what you like doing, if you enjoy the game that much that you want to spend that much, that's fine. But it's it's not as friendly for new players to come in to be able to do the same things. Like I know in World of Warcraft or Overwatch, it's mostly skill based. Yeah, okay, if you have the gear, you need some of the gear in World of Warcraft, but like it's got to be more skill based. It's got to be more shot based.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree with all that. How much do you think overall? I just wanted to make this comment. Eobad and me actually started off in the same cluster, which was Lord of Legends. So I think he played a little bit better than me. Eobad actually helped me clear Dragon 20 when I first started out. So yeah, he started playing before me. So he's been around a long time. His account's been around a long time. So it's the free-to-play players that can finish in Plat. I think the only one that can is actually Final Capucci. I don't know if he gets content creator program rewards. I don't think he does at the moment.
I don't think so.
No, I don't think he does, but for sure he's 100%. For spending 40 grand in 6 months, for me, if you've got the money, you got the money. Whatever you do with your money is up to you. I used to work on cruise ships. That's where most of my funds come from my account. I was making a lot of money, I spent a lot of money, but my cost of living was low. Now I just pay. I behave myself now, you know, and also a more responsible adult. But I still spend a lot of money. So when that, when that glitch come up, you can see how much you spent. I looked on mine, and mine was about just under $20,000. But bear in mind, I've been playing this game for 4 years. So
that's a down payment on a house for somebody.
In the UK, not really. Not in the UK. It probably, I think it's about £30,000 in, which is probably about, I think $27,000 is about, probably about £18,000. So, expensive, but most of that was because I was on cruise ship and then COVID after that. So, if you enjoy the game, why not? In the day, you're supporting the game, right?
I agree. I'm not gonna lie. I've wheeled out. I have 2 accounts and I've wheeled out on both of them. And I just I've cut my spending way back to literally I buy the gem pack every month. And that's about it. Like unless like a really good deal comes out, or I'm close to Mercy, and I really want this champion. Let me ring out maybe like 8 or 9 shards if I'm lucky. I don't even think I bought the last Forge Pass because I didn't need the instinct gear. So I've definitely been scaling back what I've spent. I've actually just been doing a lot more gem giveaways than anything else.
I'm going to use a Warlord for example. I've cut my spending back all the way as well, and this is my second Warlord, so it's not my first one. But obviously Warlord's still one of the best players in the arena. Sorry, champions are players, but champions in the arena. And I'm really careful with my resources now. And so the only thing that I buy really on my account is Gem Pack, Forge Pass. I didn't like the idea of having instant gear last time. However, with all the charms, the glyphs, I push plat right, I always run out of glyphs. I don't really have a lot of glyphs. Since the round 2 missions, this is the state of my glyphs.
Yeah.
And if they was to do anything for me for this game, it's glyphs. I have lots of 1 stars, but if you look at these 6 and 5s, there's nothing there. Not really. This will go from 1 champion or 1 piece of gear with bad RNG.
Yeah. I have a whole issue with glyphs.
So
I don't think I should be able to re-roll the same number or lowered number on a glyph. If it took me a month to get a 6-star glyph because of the RNG, I should not be able to roll it at a 3 when I'm already at a 5.
Yeah, I agree. And for example, I never buy legendary tomes now, unless there's a void pack going.
Yeah.
Void pack is probably my biggest spend. But really, like I said here, this is C vs C points. That's 30,000 points in C vs C, and I don't even 6-star champions now. So all I do for example, champion trainers, I take them up to level 5 and I leave them in my vault for when I need to upgrade or when I want to upgrade, because there's so much points there. And I used to be in an NSA. I broke 1 million, my highest record on CVC is 1.89 million, which is a lot of points in CVC. I did spend some cash.
I think the most I did was 1.3.
Yeah, and I broke 1 million probably 9 times in CVC since it's been out. My average score is probably 750. And one of the reasons why I burnt out was because of CVC, with all account takeovers, etc., and real life. But now I don't break the bank with CVC. I plan my points. I make sure I don't go too high. I try not to invest too much resources, because again, then I don't feel pressure spending money. And for example, legendary tomes.
I think.
I was going to say sorry.
Sorry. I think for 3v3, like, the best point for return is 3v3 arena. And I hate to say it because a lot of people are like, oh, 3v3 arena, it sucks. And so I did a video about it a while back where I saw some of the content creators just had the 3v3 on the test server cut out. And I was like, there's something going on. They've got to be listening, because I went back and looked, and every content creator that was on the server
as well, yeah.
had it blocked out. And I'm like, okay, there's something there coming. There's something coming. I don't know if they're going to just take 3v3 arena out and just do the real-time arena or what. But, you know, arena, regardless, is a great CVC point. So if you think about it, you know, for anybody who's not in already a max Great Hall, just doing your arena and just leveling everything up, doing CVC, using those gold bars, those are big points. And then even if you're in like silver 3 or silver 4 arena, that's still, you know, 400 or 500 points per hit. So it's still one of your better points to have during CVC. But
I agree. I mean, I have this like little thing here, and I did a video on CVC, and in my Discord CVC, I have 15 sets of tokens. I think we get like 70 of them for free. Sorry, about 7 or 8 sets for free. I can't remember off the top of my head. And in Gold 4, you earn 117,000 points if you win all of them.
Yeah.
And you can still do more than that. And by the way, that in 3 days or 2 days is nearly enough for the Sacred Shard. Because in gold bars, that's 23,400. So bear in mind that will save you energy and spider, and just doing the basics like a Faction Wars 21 is 24,000 points. And being a little bit smarter as a free to play or someone that wants to be low spend, again, classic arena, I worked out you can do 100 fights overall. I've got 80 here if you're being lazy, but if you're efficient, you'll get 100 in. That's 10,000 points. And I think, personally, once you've got a max Great Hall, 3 versus 3 should be your priority. If I'm honest, because the rewards are better, you can get yourself energy on a weekly basis. Rare book, as a game player, that's really hard. Void Shard every 2 weeks. I don't know if you're not grabbing a refresh, I don't know what's wrong with you. Sacred Shard once a month. And I think removing that Sacred Shard from the login, getting this monthly is huge. Exactly right, because we knew how big that was for everyone. Free to play and whales plus Krakens. And that's hurt us and that's scarred us, you know. Legendary tomes, I think I've worked out you get like 10 to 15 legendary tomes if you hit Ultra Nightmare every day for a month. So, and that's probably Nightmare as well. So that's one extra legendary tome, you know. And I think this shop is amazing. Honestly, I would like it to be a bit cheaper. The only nerve that I would make to 3 vs 3, and I wouldn't say a nerve actually, it's more of a buff. Split these tokens down to 5 and double the gold bars, double the points, so people get the same rewards. They do the less battles, they spend less time, they reduce down, and they'll enjoy 3 vs 3 more. More people will play 3 vs 3 more because it wouldn't affect them in giving more rewards out. The only thing that affects them is time, and it gives people less time to play other content. So
the one thing I'd like to see change is the token system. So, you know how you have everything based on numbers up top? Yeah. I'd like to just, once I hit my 10, if I have some sitting in my storage, let me just add them on like I do with my clan boss keys. I mean, I've seen people that have like 30 clan boss keys out there because they can just keep stacking it.
Yeah.
Why should I lose my refreshes or my battles because this game already takes enough time to play. Why can't I just add them onto there, and then, hey, if I have a free hour and I want to do 3v3 then or regular arena, why can't I just use them there? You fixed it, and you did it with Faction Wars, right? You did it with what's it called, Doom Tower. Why not do it with Arena? And we can do it with Energy. So, if I want to build up, 10, 1,500 keys up there, let me do it.
Yeah, for sure. I agree. I mean, that would be great for C versus C as well, and I think that would be a big community push because, like we said, C versus C is dead content now. People are making deals, so people are not pushing hard. We're not getting breaking points no more. There's no world record set, and no one's interested in world setting records. Even clans like Mad, ET, they're focusing more on other things now, and I think that's a good thing in some sense because we shouldn't be filling their pockets. Like I used to always buy energy packs for Spider. I mean, I just want to get my 400,000, log off, go do something else because it's boring. It's just a grind.
Yeah, and that's how it's kind of gotten to most places now. Like again, the last 10 CVCs we've had, they've all been deals, and it's literally being in the in-game clan. It's like, okay, so either we take a loss this time or you take the loss this time, and then next time it's returned back to you. But because players do see it, it's just credit card versus credit card. Now, if you're one of those clans that's very competitive and says, no, I'm not going to make a deal, well, yeah, you better be prepared. I mean, we had one of those clans, I think a couple of weeks ago, where it was like, they said, no, we're not going to make a deal. So it was like, okay, well, now we got to go and we got to crush. So that was where everybody burnt their their resources for personal CVC. But yeah, it's CVC. I think is dead. I think if they did this real time arena with CVC and based it, that way, I think that would be great. But again, the thing is, how do you prevent then? Okay, it's my clan versus your clan. I see what your defense is, and then I go and I tell my clanmates, okay, this guy's got the easy defense, clear that one, and then 30 players just attack you, and we get a 30 win points, as opposed to you guys who go and attack everybody and try to figure out who's got the better team and strategize. So I think that's probably an issue on how they would fix it. I would say the only thing is if they did it where it was tournament based, right? You could only maybe hit somebody once or twice. But again, I think they probably won't do that because it's going to affect their bottom line. And we all know that player cares more about the money than anything else.
I would be honest, they need to put a system in place where the matchmaking is good. And I think that they need some type of arena that we're not spending a lot of time playing. So a bit like C versus C needs to be over 2 days. So I would say 2 days, I'll do C versus C over 2 weeks. On the opposite week, I would probably do, I don't know, let's call it Clan Arena, for example. Sounds a bit plain. You give people 2 attacks and you allow that defense only to be attacked twice. And I think then, unless you're in ET or MAD or SP, I think after that, yeah, you wouldn't have, like, I suppose a polite way of saying it is tag team ish. We have a saying in English, but I'm not gonna say it. But yeah, ganging up on someone, right, to get the points. So I think putting and they can do this because the mechanics is there already in the game in Classic Arena. So they can do this. Like show 2 people on Arena. If it's 5 or if it's 4, show 1, and then only last person be tapped twice.
I think the whole arena, like, I think if you go into arena, you should not be able to pick who you're going to go up against. I think it should just be random. I think you enter in the pool. Okay, you got in the queue. You got somebody, and I think it should just be random. Like if I know who I'm going up against with, like it should just be okay, me versus you again, and then we get matched up. So you popped up on my screen. I can't see who you bring in, so now I have to plan accordingly. Okay, am I gonna try to go against you with a go first team, or if I'm gonna go with a go second team, or is it gonna just be a stall team? Which I don't think a stall team would work, but hey, you never know. But I think that's how it should be, especially for the real time arena. And then I think a good way to base the matchmaking would be average wins, right? Because if you're a player that has a 100% win rate, then you should not be going up against other ones that have got like a 50% or a 60% win rate. You should have something that's a challenge. Yeah. And I think doing, going by win rate, because let's say, okay, you climbed out of gold 1 into gold 5, pushing to plat, but you kept attacking 1-man defenses, 2-man defenses. Then you'll find yourself when you go into pushing for plat arena, like, oh shit, I went against the wrong team. So I think that's going to deter people from trying to find those easy wins, and I think it's going to make arena much better because it's going to bring in quality. Not that everybody isn't quality player, but it's going to bring in the quality teams. So it's going to bring in people that are actually sitting there and thinking about what they want to bring in for a team.
Yeah, I agree. And I think another thing as well, I need to put a top time limit on it. I think a time limit is really important. I would say minute and a half. I think that's fairly. I think maybe even minute and a half for most people is fine. I think for the Krakens and the whales, minute and a half might be tough, and I think that's where at the top it will get a bit more interesting.
I think a minute and a half might be a little too low. I could probably say 2 minutes, maybe 3, because there's. I mean, if somebody is going completely stall team on you, go second, where they're running triple reaction stone skin or triple reaction just bolster set and stuff, and their speeds are super low, like 130, 120. They could take some time before they get a single turn, especially if you bring like a turn meter manipulator or something.
Well, that's skill based, I think personally, or maybe a champions you got available. I think the only team that I personally struggle against longer than a minute and a half is the Ukrainian couple. Yeah, and I think that's the only one that really causes me concern. Everyone else I can counter, and I can clear it up in a minute and a half.
I think that duo is countering or giving a hard time to everybody. I know I've been talking to my clean to try to see if there's something we can do to do a video for it, because I think that'll get some traction, but it's still nothing that's going to be out there to just easy farm. And I don't think playing's going to allow anything for it, because we were talking earlier off camera, it's their cash cows. People know that they're going to throw those in a 10x, and they're just going to just spend thousands on it.
I mean, look at Necrid. Necrid has had, I think Necrid's had at least 5 10x that I can think of since he's been out. I mean, I don't think Necrid is overpowering. I think there is a way to counter him a little bit, but I'll have a video coming out probably in a couple of weeks about this, because I've got some ideas and I just need to build it and put it into action. But I'm pretty sure I know how to come to it now. I've tested other champions like Samuel and stuff like that. They can do it, but another champion with them Ukrainian champions can really screw you up. It's not a consistent setup. So
I saw something where it was the Ukrainian couple with a Necret and Duchess, and I'm like, oh, I got this. I'll go in and I'll lock them out. I'll strip off, and yeah, that didn't work out the well.
no,
They
because
wiped the floor with me in like 2 minutes.
the guys, because you can't use Warlord that well, and
Yeah,
Yamikone doesn't lock him out long enough. So
yeah.
yeah. Anyway, before we wrap this video, who is your top 3 champions that you would use for the live arena, or who do you think is going to be big?
Ooh. Does it have to be a damage dealer, defensive,
Be anything you
support?
fancy.
Anything I want. I think I've got to go with Rotos, right? Rotos is just an amazing champion. He's been nerfed time after time after time, and yet he still finds himself being one of the top. He's always able to keep a top 3 spot, partially because of his passive and the synergy he's got with Sifi. I think he's always going to be there. Um, I think the next one, ooh, that's going to be tough. I think I would probably say Duchess. She's another one that, no matter what, has always been able to hold her own. Even against Trendas, if you build her right, she can still keep herself up. She can still revive your team. I think she's going to be good. And the last one, that's a toughie. That is a toughie. If I was to say speed's dying, so Arbiter definitely wouldn't work there anymore. Unless you're just going in blind. But I think oh man, Kymar is good, but he's got the whole polymorph thing now that's got in, and so that's killer. I'm gonna go ahead and say, and this is gonna be some people might think this is a meme, but I'm gonna say um, what's her name from the Banner Lords? Um, oh my god, why can't I think of her name?
Rhonda?
Who is it?
Rhonda?
No, not Rhonda. Raglan.
Raglan? Ooh.
Raglan. 2-turn revive, right? Um, she can be built super tanky. She can be built super fast. I know in my 3v3 arena, I have her built in a region set with like 280 speed and super tanky. I pair her with a Brogni, and I know people have a tough time taking her down.
Uh-huh.
That 2-turn revive kind of kills you, and you're just like, oh man. Um, and I think I have like 2 or 3. I just have her built with like high HP, so I think she's setting at like 80 or 90k EHP.
Okay.
But yeah, I think she's gonna be good for that as well too.
I mean, for me, I think going back undead, I think Necrit, for me, is my #1 non-void. I don't think he's a champion that's broken, but I also think he's a champion that is OP. So depends on how you build him. You can build this guy so many different ways and stuff like that. But I still think this guy is probably the best arena champion in the game, in my opinion. For me,
100% agree.
yeah, for me at the moment, the Ukrainian couple are there because a lot of people don't counter them or just haven't played around to avoid them. So for me, Necrid is still up there as the big one. And I think it's just amazing. I think second, again, I agree, Duchess is definitely up there. Because she's just definitely a top 3 champion overall in the game. She's great even in Clan Boss. And she has good multipliers as well. But it's just this that brings this, not this one, sorry, this one, that brings her in everywhere, and the passive is just so strong. So for me, she definitely is still there. Surprisingly, who would I have next? I had someone in my head, and it just slipped out. I'm trying to think what faction they're in. Oh yeah, okay, so same faction. I don't actually have her. No, she's not in here. I was gonna say, I think she's Bannerlord actually. She's not. There we go.
Was it Cephalia?
No, she was a guaranteed champion. The one that can works a bit like.
Wither?
No, not Weather. She's recent from Sacreds. I was on break.
Oh, Elva?
No, not Alva. She's Force. She can nuke and tank. Can't remember her name. She's really awkward to take on. She can provoke Duchess from the A3. I'm trying to think of her name.
I don't.
Let me see if we can find her.
Harima?
There we are. She's
in the Shadowkin. So I don't think she was a guarantee. Yeah, I don't think she was a guaranteed. I think she was a 10x.
Yeah, she was 10x, yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, I was like, Harima, if she was at a guaranteed, people would be going crazy for her.
I think right now, she's definitely up there with Duchess. If anything, I think she's a little bit better than Duchess for Arena. Just because she gets one over Duchess with this.
Yeah. She can't weak hit.
Yeah, she can't weak hit. She counters Mutu Macabre, lovely. I mean, I go in there with my Baron, I slap her, and she's like, that's what you got, right? Going again?
Yeah, right?
Do you want to go again? You know, and I know people with poor gear, and they're still going in there. The trick with her is you got to kill it quickly. If you don't kill it quickly, you'll win that fight for 2 minutes. Because this defense just stacks and stacks and stacks and stacks. Really good champion. And for me, I think if I was a puller, she would be a count changer for my defense. I would just build her straight up to be nuke and just cause some absolute havoc in there. But I know I could build her in some crazy stats as well. So
we got 2x Ancients next week, so we could definitely have a good chance to pull her. By the way, Jerry Gaming, you better pull this for me. I want this. He's going to be pulling my shards next week, so.
Oh, okay. To be honest, I don't think I'm going to be pulling to join the 2x. I'm saving my shards up. So, it's something I'm working on. Anyway, anything else you want to add before we wrap this up?
Just keep an eye out. We're going to be doing a lot more of the content creator games. We've got some ideas coming up. The list of the content creators are growing. I think since the last time we've probably added like 5 or 6 other content creators in. And if there's any other content creators out there that are watching this, they can DM you, they can DM me on Discord, and we'll get them put in the group. And the more that we have in there, the better. I feel like some of the content out there is just kind of rinse and repeat, and I think people are enjoying this, and we're providing something enjoyable.
Yeah.
So
I will also have a video for Blazin and with me on his channel, so go and check that out. I will drop the link below. Make sure you drop him a sub on his YouTube, and make sure you go check out his content, support content creators. I think it's really important. And as well, the more content creators that get into the content program, the more big brains that get in there to test out new things. For example, Ukrainian champions, if I was a tester, I'd be on that all day looking for something to deal with them.
great.
And yeah, and it's more giveaways for the community. So It definitely is recommended. 500 gems, quite a bit, to get out there. And again, make sure you give us some love on this channel, hit that like, subscribe button, and we'll check you guys out on the next video. Till then, peace.